Well, our favorite lyrical poet did it again. Let's talk about it on Azimuth Podcast. I'm Kimberly McNabb, and with me is Barrett McNabb.
Yeah, thanks, Kimberly. So Oliver Anthony, again, as Kimberly said, released this song right before the election. And I do want to warn people that there is a little bit of spicy language in there. We're not going to bleep out anything. We're going to leave the lyrics as they are. But we just wanted to let you know this is, I think, the first time that we've seen Oliver Anthony drop any F-bombs in any of his music. But let's go ahead without further ado and listen to this.
I'm recording this on my cell phone, like back in the good old days. It's November the 4th, at around 6:30 in the evening. And I don't know what the outcome will be tomorrow, but I wrote this song called It's About Time. Dread tomorrow. But every day I dwell on the past. Am I going fucking crazy, or is everyone else? I swear I'm losing my mind. Oh God, well, it's been a long time coming.
Well, he's back. I mean, he's never really left us. He's been touring, but he's back with some interesting lyrics. And again, there's that F-bomb and the spicy language that he's going on. Obviously, we're stopping this so to give commentary, but also so that we don't get a copyright strike on his music, and we want to make sure that we share that with you. But Kimberly, here he is. He's kind of predicated this, that he's doing it before the election. What do you see just from this first opening stanza of what he's going on in his mind?
Well, he doesn't say, does he hope Kamala Harris wins or Trump wins?
Nope.
He's never flat out said his political leanings, even though he represents, working class, or at least that's what his fans say. And, so you hear the lyric, like, it's been a long time coming. Like, what's been a long time coming? A female president? Or he says, am I losing my mind? Are you losing your mind because, the media left and right and, Trump's Hitler, Trump's a fascist? Or are you going crazy because of the cultural, paths,
Right.
the way the culture is going, like men and female sports and, using pronouns and, the blue hair crazy libs are they driving you crazy? These Marxist ideologies being taught in schools, and I think he has kids. What is it that's driving you crazy? Or is it the economy? Like, you can't buy anything. Is that driving you crazy? So
Well,
he never says what it is, but I think
I'd say it's all the above.
yes, and that's why so many people resonate with, his music resonates with everybody. It doesn't matter what your priorities are.
Right.
So,
well, I mean,
he's kind of feeling what everyone else is feeling.
You could easily be overwhelmed with all of those topics that you have going on, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a right or a left issue. Like you said, the economy, education, things like that. But he's got some deeper lyrics coming up, so let's continue.
I can feel this shift in my bones. I'm just a product of a simpler time. You should have just as soon been left alone. Lord, please don't forget me. I see you on the other side. It's been a long but it's about time.
Well, I mean, we're already starting, to get into some of the lyrics that we're talking about. That this is, it's all overwhelming. I mean, he's a product of a simpler time. And I see that as, before all of the in-your-face social media, before all the, he probably got a bazillion text messages like we did during the election season. So, getting a political text message every 13 seconds or so, it just, I just wanted the election to be over just to stop the text messages from coming in. I think you're still getting some.
I'm still getting them, not as much maybe.
The election's over, guys.
Maybe a quarter. I don't know. I'm like, just leave me alone.
Well,
leave me alone.
Mine went away, but still, with him saying, it's, he can feel the shifting of politics in his bones. He can feel the shifting of culture in his bones.
World.
Yeah,
I've heard a number of commentators say, before the election, like, you feel like it's a spiritual warfare, which sounded hyperbolic, 2 years ago and further back, anytime I would hear that. But I'm like, yeah, you feel bombarded on all sides. Like, no ground is sacred. The schools aren't sacred. The churches are not sacred. I mean, you have some churches that are teaching flat out CRT and making white people apologize to black people. Like, that's how bad it is getting. So yeah, you just feel assaulted on all fronts. And he's like, I'm a product of a simpler time. Like, keep church, keep schools, keep it simple. Leave me alone. He even says, like, I may as well have been left alone. Like, yeah, so that's what most people want, is just to be left alone. And you feel attacked on all sides. Like, geez, now I have to get up and fight.
Right, exactly. All right, let's keep going.
Six strings and a cell phone, and a young man running far from home. I left all I loved with what little I owned, in the left-hand lane of my leaving home. I had some dreams that I slowly let die. Every third shift punch down in North Carolina. My mama would ask me how I'm doing. I told her doing just fine. And then I'd hang up the phone and I'd break down crying.
Wow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. You had some dreams, you had to just kind of forget about them just so you can struggle to survive. I mean, if you're working third shift, what that means is you're working in the middle of night.
Right, from like 10 to 6 a.m.?
Yeah, around there, for people who aren't familiar with shift work. Yeah, you're struggling to survive, and so things you wanted to do had to get left behind. And when you talk to your mom, I mean, sometimes you want to tell her every little detail, but sometimes life is just so overwhelming you can't even put into words what's going on, and so you just say, I'm fine.
Right.
And you're so overwhelmed, you just cry, but you can't put it into words. Like, I can't articulate what's going on. Right.
Yeah, sometimes you get overwhelmed. Now, he's got a couple of songs specifically that talk about him wishing to be able to go back and not necessarily change his childhood, but give his past self a heads up of what was coming down the road. And I kind of see, some of this, that he dwells on the past. I mean, obviously, he had addiction issues, and he's very upfront with it. And he's taking care of himself, and he's found God, and he has his family, and he has his dogs, although dogs aren't in this video.
Oh, yep. We found a video without the dogs.
I know, we did. I really do like the fact that he's going back to his roots, and he even said that at the beginning, that he's filming this, with his cell phone and a guitar, and he's just doing it by himself. Mm-hmm. But, with him, talking about being able to talk to his mother and not be able to share everything. I mean, there's still parts of him that he's keeping to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
We're sick, strange, and a cell phone. And a young man running far from home. Well, they took down the statue of Robert E. Lee, but not the drugs and the thugs and the crime in the street. And there's 5,000 children with nothing to eat in the street sweeper slinging needles right up to your feet.
So this is kind of important. He's talking about that priorities. Right. He's talking about priorities. So you have the BLM movement and the erasing of American history and the tearing down of Confederate statues and things like that. But everybody was so concerned about the statues that there's still crime, there's still drugs, there's still children that are hungry. I think in West Virginia and Virginia there's 11% of people experience food insecurity, and so that's like 1 out of every 7 children are hungry, and so that's where you get this 5,000 starving children number.
Well, I think a lot of this election was, the elite versus the working class. You have these elitists up in these ivory towers. They're just so bored. They're making up problems and really, fermenting on the racial issues and just judging past through this lens of like, well, now we know better not to have slaves. Let's tear down George Washington statues and Robert E. Lee statues and all this. When they're real life problems that face everyday Americans in your face, and you're just sweeping those problems under the rug like, no, the economy's great even though everything's so expensive, it's just gaslighting you. Well, of course it doesn't affect you up in your ivory tower, that you're so preoccupied with these problems that aren't really problems. Meanwhile, even you can easily walk down to the store and encounter a crime or, get robbed or, have to brush past all these needles on the street or whatever. And it's just the elitists ignoring the problems of everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, with politicians spending time on tearing down statues,
that cost taxpayer money.
That cost taxpayer money, and you're actually sitting down and debating them and taking votes and stuff like that. When there are people suffering, I mean, my mother always said, do the things you have to do before you do the things you want to do. And I'd have to say, tearing down the Confederate statues it shouldn't be done. It's American history, just erasing our history. But it's a nice to have. If anything,
it's like, let's clean up the needles and the crime first, and then maybe we'll spend some taxpayer dollars on what you want to do.
Right, and he actually has started a charity and a fund for children with food insecurity. So good on him that he's bringing this to the forefront. Let's keep going.
Well, it's been a long I'm just the product of a simpler time. You should have just assumed and left alone. Lord, please don't forget me. I see you on the other side. It's been a long time coming. It's about time.
Wow.
Yep. So, I mean, yeah, you could leave it up to interpretation, feel a shift in my bones. It's been a long time coming, but that could also mean, like, let's go back a little bit. But I think he, like many of us, felt that the election could indicate a shift in the direction that America's going to go. Are we going to keep going down the crazy train?
Right.
Or are we going to halt and maybe say, maybe we need to be more products of a simpler time?
Yeah, slow down. It's almost like children trying to grow up as quickly as they can. Slow down.
It's like, well, when I drive, blah, blah, I'm like, how about you put on your shoes without me telling you to
right.
first? Let's do that first.
Right. But, with him, obviously, again, this was released the day before the election. And so, you heard him say, hey, look, I don't know what the results are going to be.
See you on the other side.
See you on the other side. See you on the other side. And we have this ballad, this song, and it's about priorities. And maybe a lot of his music talks about the past, but also it's, hey, look, this is what the future could be as well, and you have an opportunity to change it. He's corrected mistakes that he's had in the past, and he's kind of looking forward. And so I think if you looked at this and you said, what are the priorities that our government should have, and he's saying, don't concentrate on the small stuff. Get the stuff that has to be done first. Instead of looking.
If we're really a democracy, how about what the largest number of people want?
Exactly.
Safe streets.
Well, we wanted to bring this song to you. We thought it was really powerful, especially the way he filmed it. Just in his in a room with just his phone, and it's as soulful as ever. So we wanted to share this with you. So thank you so much for tuning into Azimuth Podcast, and please stay tuned after these messages.
Hi everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all of the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.